Good morning. So I just wanted to jump on and talk about a topic that's probably quite an interesting topic, especially considering the current situation, and that is the use of something called probiotics. Now, probiotics are essentially supplements that people take nowadays in order to build up a level of good bacteria in their colon. So traditionally, what would have really happened is that because of the types of foods that we would have been eating and where we would have picked them or caught them in the wild, what naturally would have happened is we would have eaten and absorbed bacteria that would have been on all of the fruits, vegetables, meats, dairy products, whatever we would have hunted or gathered, we would have collected that food, and that food would not have been sterile or clean. And as a result, what it would traditionally have is bacteria on it. Now, many of us would obviously think that, especially during the current situation, that bacteria are bad for us. Now, interestingly, what we know is that there are both good and bad bacteria, and some bacteria actually really help us to be able to maintain proper health and function. So here's a few examples of some areas that you wouldn't be able to cope with if you did not have bacteria. Now, one of the most common areas that you wouldn't be able to cope with bacteria is your skin. Our skin has thousands and millions of cultures that are living on it that will actually help to protect the skin. Other areas that we really obviously need bacteria is in our colon. And the reason why we need good bacteria in our colon is there are a couple of reasons. It helps for proper digestion of certain foods. It helps with proper absorption of other foods. And generally, as a rule of thumb, it stops us from allowing too many of the bad bacteria to grow in our colon, which can actually give us an immune-based effect. Now, the reality of it is like I said, that the majority of our food nowadays does not have probiotics or the bacteria that we need in it. And so this is why we start to see so many issues, say, for example, with stuff like IBS, skin conditions, eczema, psoriasis. There are certain things that are lacking in modern diet that will actually lead, and for certain people, we will be much more susceptible, and so therefore, there are going to be people that are more likely to develop these types of conditions. And so, there is a level of susceptibility. However, if you make the environment good, it doesn't matter how susceptible you are, you can balance that out. So really simple, there's some really easy ways that you can get probiotics in your diet. And probably the most common one that most people would probably know about is Yakults, or those probiotic yogurts that you can get. Now, the reality of probiotic yogurts, as great as they are probably one of the lowest bioavailable cultures for probiotics. Now, there are some other really good ways, and there are some really cool things that have been produced in the last couple of years. One of the ones that was introduced to me by a friend was a drink called kombucha. Kombucha is using yeast to produce bacteria, and it almost produces like a vinegary type carbonated water. And a lot of people will sweeten this and add loads of flavorings. So if you're going to drink kombucha, you want to be careful with the sugar content. You have to add sugar to it in order to actually feed the yeasts. However, what you've got to understand is that if you're going to have kombucha, there's going to be added sugar a lot of the time if you're going to drink the ones that they sell in the supermarkets. Another really simple way of getting probiotics into your diet is something called Kaffir. Kaffir is a live milk culture where you add the bacteria to it and they feed off the lactose in the milk. So bacteria, like every other organism, they need a food source. And so the really simple food source for them is using the lactose in the milk, which great for us because we can't digest the lactose. So when you put the milk Kaffir into the milk and it absorbs the lactose, you're actually taking out part of the milk that you can't really easily digest. Now, there are other ways that you can actually do this as well. You can easily add a probiotic supplement to your diet. This is the way that I make sure that I get my probiotics. So I just take one capsule a day, which is got something like 11 million units of probiotics in it. And again, it's really taking the bacteria that are available in fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, this is the other way that you can obviously encourage live cultures to develop in your gut, and that is to make sure that you eat plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables. The more fresh fruit and vegetable you have in your diet, the more fiber you have in your diet. And bacteria love this because they can live in that fiber whilst it's coming through the colon, and they can reproduce and actually produce a lot of the benefits in helping you to aid digestion. Now, some of the things that we know that you can add to your stomach that will actually reduce the volumes of probiotics, really simple: sugar and alcohol. And certain drugs will do this as well, so especially things like ibuprofen. So really, really easy. There's tons and tons of benefits with having probiotics. Like I said, improved skin, improved mood. Over, I think it's 98% of serotonin, which is our feel-good hormone, is actually produced in our colon. So happy gut, happy body, happy mind. It can help with the aid of digestion. It can actually also inhibit other vitamin deficiencies by actually aiding and improving absorption of other vitamins and minerals. And it can just help, especially with, say, for example, with skin and other infections such as thrush, either orally or elsewhere, can actually help to balance out areas like this as well. One of the other things that has been very heavily linked to is an improved immune system. So guys, especially now when things are starting to get a little bit scary and we're starting to get back out again, and those risks could potentially be going a little bit up, it's definitely worth thinking about things that you can do that will help to improve your immune function. And one of the things that we know about keeping the good levels of bacteria, it helps us to inhibit the bad bacteria from developing in our bodies. Hopefully you found some interesting information. If you need anything or you have any questions, please just give us a shout and I'll try and explain this a little bit better. Equally, for anyone that is interested in the use of probiotics or wants to learn a little bit more, we do supply probiotics in the clinic. I actually sell them at cost. We don't make any money on our probiotics. The reason why we buy the probiotics in is I buy them for myself, and as a result, it means that I can buy them in bulk, keep them at a low cost, and then supply them to my clients in order to supplement their care. So again, just a really nice way for us to actually add on to the chiropractic message and allow people to improve not only on their physical health, but on other areas of their health as well. Have a lovely day, guys, and we'll speak to you again soon.